Thank you very much. I am Cynthia Muga, the woman rep for Nandi County, and we continue to affirm that Her Excellency Susan Kihika, just like any other parent, has a right to maternity leave and to care for her children. We therefore demand the following. One is that the end to the gendered attacks on Governor Susan Kihika and actually all other women leaders. Number two, respect for the rights of women leaders to take legally recognized maternity leave without facing political bullying, because that's exactly what's happening to Governor Susan Kihika right now. And a fair political environment where leadership is judged by performance and integrity and not gender or motherhood. Fourth, we want to call upon all the leaders, our beloved for the state, the media houses, the public. All of us should reject the outdated thinking on issues of motherhood. Let us focus on what truly matters, that is service delivery, that is governance and leadership, not a woman's personal decisions to have a child or not to have one. And lastly, I want to give this assurance to our women in this country and indeed the whole world, that you can lead, that you can be a mother, you can be both and do well in both. And we will stand together to ensure that no woman is ever forced to choose between the two, that they can have both and celebrate both. And I must say this because I am really disappointed. My first agenda when I get to heaven is to ask God for a preliminary meeting. Because seriously, were it a man who is unwell, there's so many men who are in leadership who have not been in the constituencies for 1 year, for 2 years, but you never hear anything about it. But because it is Susan Kihika, there is a lot of noise around it. We wish Susan Kihika, Her Excellency, the very best. She has discharged her duties. She left a very able team to continue discharging her constitutional duties to the people of Nakuru. And we appreciate the people of Nakuru, and we tell them you did not make a wrong choice. You made the best of choices, and you'll be able to see the result in a few days' time. To all women, you can be both. Girls, women, you can be both. You can be a governor, you can be a senator, you can be a woman rep, you can be a president, you can be a prime minister, you can be a cabinet secretary, you can be anything that you ever want to dream and still be a mother, a beloved mother. Congratulations, Your Excellency, Susan Kihika. We love you, and we are not here in defense of Susan Kihika. We are here in support of Her Excellency Susan Kihika.
Which is being done by members of KEWOPA, Kenya Women Parliamentarians, and Kenya Women Senators, amongst other women leaders in Kenya. And today, we gather here, sadly so, for this press briefing, to strongly condemn and denounce the cruel, inhumane, degrading, abhorrent, and violent assault that Ms. Melen Mogaka was subjected to in Nyabisimba village in Nyamira County. The violent assault and criminal behavior by the gang of criminal adult men who descended upon her while she had gone to attend the funeral of her late ex-husband was uncalled for and has no place in our modern society. Unfortunately, she was in the company of her young children whom she had responsibly brought to the funeral to pay last respect and to bury their father, which was really commendable of her to have been that considerate. Unfortunately, rowdy group of adult men in a most detestable, barbaric, and civilized form of gender violence attacked her, purporting to implement some retrogressive and uncouth cultural practice. Most unfortunately, once again, this was taking place in broad daylight, in the presence of those who were in attendance of this funeral, and we assume, including the church that was presiding, community leaders, and administration officers. We would want to repeat that culture protects and preserves dignity, and no amount of hiding behind any culture can ever justify this form of violations that were meted against the widow, Ms. Melen Mogaka. It's a big shame, very big shame to all those criminals who did these abhorrent acts. As Kenyan women leaders and women in Kenya, we call out this culture of forcing widows to engage in certain cultural rites that they are opposed to and that are clearly repugnant to law and criminal in nature. And they're also repugnant to any form of morality and completely unconstitutional and unlawful. We are calling upon the law enforcement officers to quickly rein in on all the culprits, and we also require the Ministry of Interior to pronounce itself on this grave matter. Many thanks to the fourth estate for highlighting this matter. And we ask you to continue being a watchdog and an ambassador for women empowerment, women rights, and protection of women and girls, and to ensure that any form of gender-based violence cases are reported. We already know how difficult it's been for women and the girl child in the face of femicide that has been committed against several women in the Republic of Kenya. KEWOPA and KEWOSA will be presenting their views to the relevant task force, and we call on all women in Kenya to share information on any retrogressive cultures that are even being done in the absence of cameras, but which are aiding gender-based violence and sexual gender-based violence. We await for appropriate legal action to be taken against the culprits and damages also to be paid to this innocent woman who was aggrieved yesterday in that funeral. Thank you. I will now give an opportunity to my colleagues to